War. War never changes. Ever since the dawn of time, Fallout 76ers have attempted to build immersive camps in pre-war houses. But they have failed to realize that the most immersive locations are the ruins. I'm just kidding. War changes all the time. And so do Fallout 76 builders. So, here's another immersive camp video. This is not one of the ruined houses that I'll be featuring. This is what we call B-roll. This is in the business called B-roll. This is just a bunch of footage that I put here so I can introduce the real video. And it's just meant to occupy your eyes a little bit while I introduce what I'm really going to talk about, which is Appalachia ruins. Houses, pre-war houses that have been ruined into a, I would argue, more realistic state than some of the houses we see in the game. And you know, let's take the view in this video that the most immersive builds should come in those pre-war ruined houses. So I'm going to do what I think are the top 5 locations where these destroyed, wrecked, ruined, demolished, whatever word you want to use, pre-war houses are located that you can actually put your camp down. And in case you are curious about what this B-roll footage actually is, it's a cool little glitched camp that I've been experimenting with. It is a pre-war house that's not destroyed, but you can only access the basement. But now back to the pre-war ruined houses. And my hope is in the future that I'll actually do builds at these sites just to see how they work. So let's get started. So number 5 on the list here is actually 2 houses in one that I think you can actually get into the same camp, which is kind of cool. You can also pair it with this intact pre-war house if you wanted to. If you wanted a little bit of both, an intact house and a ruined house. One of the things I like about this area is that these houses have these cars out front, so you can kind of do a garage build or something, which is kind of neat. I love these pre-war locations that have just the items of everyday life around, so like swing sets or canoes or whatever else. So that's kind of cool. So I think if you were to place your camp here, you'd be able to get both of these in there, or at least enough to use them. Or like I said, you can pair the left one with the intact house. So as we enter here, one of the themes we're going to see in this video is that when you see a ruined house, it might be very difficult to build inside it just because of what's on the floor. But again, this is about true immersion here. So, but they often present themselves with junk. And in this case, there's a weapon, there's a mod, nice little TV. And I think this back half of the house, you could probably build one or two things in here. Got a wood pile right in the house to get, and a dresser that spawns some stuff there as well. There's also this little ledge up here, which is not easily accessible, but I think if you did some creative building on the outside, you'd be able to do it just fine. To get up there for like a generator or something, even turrets or something up there you wanted to hide. I loosely tried to get up here, and I didn't really try that hard. There's also that tree on the outside. Maybe you can scale that, but perhaps even doing something on the outside there, constructing some floors out here might get you there. So this one doesn't have as much to offer. The next one's a little bit better. The yard, it's Toxic Valley, so it's pretty horrifying. But you can plant some stuff out here, have fun with it. Here's that tree I was mentioning. It kind of scales up there. I don't think you can actually climb it. But if you go next door to this other adjacent ruined house, you'll see this one has a little bit more to offer, including 3 levels to work with. Now again, the main level is pretty trashed, but it's got a couple little bonus features to it, as you'll see, one of which is the remnants of a bathroom, which is this bathtub here. You got this guy to keep you company, who apparently was eating spices when he met his demise. I don't know. So this part of the house is going to be unbuildable, I'm sure, and even back here is probably going to be pretty tough, but you have 2 chairs that are usable, which is kind of nice. This wall space, you can definitely do something on there. And this front porch, which is pretty big, I imagine you can get a lot of stuff on there. There's a little bit of debris that might prevent you from doing that, but I don't know, worth a try. It's nice to have this little medicine cabinet. It spawns some of those chems. Now, this way you can get to the 2nd level and then subsequently the 3rd level by climbing that tree there. Got a couple of petrified scorch to deal with, but whatever. So this collapsed roof piece here gets you to the top level here. And again, if you want to hide away your generator or put some turrets up there or put your ally up there just to get them out of your way, that's a good idea. And then there's kind of semi-secret room here that you can access, and there's a skeleton in here, table lamps and bottles, stuff like that. The couch is not sittable, unfortunately, but still you can hide some stuff back here, which would be kind of neat. Another petrified scorch. And out we go. So, this wasn't the main purpose of this video to show an existing, an intact pre-war house, but since we're here, I'll just run through this really quickly. Got some resources here. And this one is in decent shape. I'm sure you've seen videos. If you're looking for pre-war houses on YouTube, you've probably seen this house show up in a video or two. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it, but pretty much a nice blank slate for a pre-war house build. Got some stuff that spawns. Not a usable bed, unfortunately. But still, pretty decent. No basement, but that's alright. So there you have it. That collectively will be number 5 on our list of ruined, wrecked, destroyed, immersive pre-war houses in Fallout 76. So, like I said, you can kind of get a lot of bang for your buck here just based on the fact that there are 3 homes there right together. For number 4, we're going to the area right near the Charleston Fire Department. Now, the house here, of course, that you're looking at, or you will be looking at again, is a well-known pre-war house. A lot of videos about this. That's not the one we're talking about. We're talking about the one across the street, which is nicely destroyed and just ready for some creative builders to get in there. So, this is another house that has a lot of this cool stuff on the outside, just like the everyday items, the flamingos, the plants, and it kind of seems like there was a little bit of this sort of avalanche thing happening here, which is kind of cool, and it kind of just went into the house. So you don't have a lot of open soil, you just had all of this sort of residue of, just like the coal mines opening up and the ash heap and all that stuff. So another cool thing about this is there's a house next to it, which you're going to see, which is not open, but you could potentially do a little glitch build and get inside of that. This area here near the truck could be used to do a garage build. And I really love that there's a trailer here that has the canoe on it. And I don't know, it's just super cool. That's not something you see very often in the map. So, let's see. I love that truck too, by the way. This is really interesting detail that I love that grill that we just saw on the ground there that's kind of like buried in all the rubble and everything. So that's really a theme here. This just sort of flowed in, it looks like. It's going to be a nightmare to build inside here, obviously. This is probably not going to work super well. Maybe with the rug trick you can do it. Like I said, I want to try to do a build at all of these spots just to see how feasible it really is. But like all these areas, you're going to have some things that spawn, some junk, plastic, wood, metal, stuff like that. And thankfully, you can kind of easily get up to the second floor, which should be able to build a little bit more easily here, just how flat it is. And of course, some junk that's going to be strewn around. The sad remnants of a child living here. That's some of these things have little stories implied by them. So that's horrifying. And you got this toy car here. You've got these beds, unfortunately, are not sleepable. I wish they were. I guess you could probably put a sleeping bag in there or a mattress in there and make it work. The cool thing is the top bunk actually has a cap stash in it. So that's nice. And then there's some caps that are on the steps of this ladder. So that's good. But this is kind of a cool vantage point. And then there's, again, like the one of the houses we saw earlier, this has got that ledge up there. You can hide some stuff. Generator especially would be a good thing. And all in all, just a nice little ruined house for you to work with. And as I said, you can probably put your camp module down here in such a way that you can get yourself to glitch inside this little pre-war house here that's not otherwise accessible. So that's a pretty cool one. So while all the cool kids are across the street at that fancy intact house, you can do your cool build over here. Oh, and the porch here, I should mention, like one of the previous houses, the porch is pretty big. There's probably enough debris on there to prevent a lot of serious building, but that's okay. And this one has a nice red commie star on it, so you can tell the neighbors that you're down with the revolution. All right, on to the next one. Number 3 on the list here is a real favorite of mine. A little bit of a sentimental value for me because when I first started thinking about doing more immersive builds and interacting with the world in that way, this is the house I set up shop in for quite some time. As you see on the map, it's on the western side. It's near the Ohio River. There's some really good views, as we're going to see. And again, it's got this great sort of remnants of everyday life over here. You've got the wood pile. You've got the picnic table. I believe you can harvest that wood there with one of those resource machines. I don't even know what they're called, but that's okay. So if we go to the house itself, I think I'm going to go to the house itself first. You got this little porch here that's workable, I think, for a few items. I didn't actually build anything on this porch, but I was able to build some stuff inside the main house over in this kind of left side and in this main living room area. A few things of junk that spawn in here. There are enemies that come in here, as you see by the mongrels, which I already took care of. A nice array of junk you can see as well. So that's kind of cool. I think some of the things are actually gone here. There's usually more things on here. I was able to get a cooking stove kind of really seamlessly into those cabinets over there, which is kind of neat. One of the cool things about this house here, it's very small overall, but it's got 3 accessible levels. So they're only half or a third of a floor, but it's still kind of neat. And you have some junk here. Here's the skeleton of a child with the toy car, which again is a horrifying image to think about, but more realistic, I suppose. And then you go up here to this 3rd level where you can put a bed or a generator or just other stuff out here. So it's kind of neat. There is a duffel bag as well, which usually spawns ammo. I think this time it was some kind of armor, but it's nice to have. But one of the cool things about this location is the location. And as you're going to see, the really cool view of the Ohio River back here. I don't know if you can get your camp module between the river or close enough to the river and the house to, probably not, to be able to do the water purifiers. But there is a scavenger who lives down there all the time, keeps you company. And even in this area itself, you will have usually, I would say, 8 times out of 10 when I've been here, there's been a settler who just works the land here anyway. Got another picnic table, but this is kind of like a homestead, So it's kind of comes off as this place that's a little bit self-sufficient. There's already crops growing here, as you see those blackberries, and here you've got ash rows. So you don't have to spend any of your camp, budget on these things. You got potatoes there and carrots there. Plenty of space within this barn area to do some stuff. You've got this storage cabinet, which spawns some junk on it. And as if all that wasn't enough, you have a tinker's workbench right over here. So that'll save you a little bit of your camp budget as well. This site definitely has regular visitors, shall we say. It's not too bad. Mostly mongrels and some ghouls, but just something you want to be aware of. What I was able to do is set up a turret on these crates here, and that pretty much took care of most of the stuff. You can also put a turret on top of the little barn area as well. It's close to the Billings homestead there and the Silva homestead, so those are nice for resources and for if you wanted to, You wanted to take one of those workshops, do that kind of stuff. So there it is. It's kind of a half house over on the western side of the map, and one of my favorites and one of my early immersive build sites. At number 2, we go to this very interesting find in the Cranberry Bog, northeast of Watauga. This is a very strange wrecked house for several reasons. Let's just go through some of the features here. This front porch is really fantastic. I've seen several random encounters on this porch, which is kind of cool. And inside, you've got kind of a blank slate here with not a lot of debris. I think it'd be pretty easy to build and not have too much trouble. So that's kind of cool. You have the TV, some other random furniture, but it's just a big old blank canvas. Now, one of the weirdest things about this house is this huge tree growing up in the middle. Now, clearly this tree is older than 25, 23 years, so it couldn't have sprouted up, right? I mean, am I missing something? Maybe I'm missing something in game lore that makes trees grow like that, but it's like, that didn't grow just after the war. Anyway, here's a vaguely Diego Rivera looking painting, and then this big old creepy clown painting right here. I've seen this in a smaller frame. You've seen it in other places around the map, I'm sure, but this is the largest one I've seen of the creepy clown painting. So that's kind of cool. I'm guessing that with some creative building on the outside here, you could probably put a second floor into this house. We've got some wood piles here for resources. There's some other random plants. I think there's mutated ferns over here, if I remember correctly. Let's see. And in the latest set of, what is it? I can't remember which event it is, but there's an event that happens over here right near this place, so it would be kind of a cool thing. I think it's part of the Meat Week stuff that's been going on, but I think that might be over now. But anyway, one of the bonus things about this place is its proximity to other interesting locations. Got this trailer here that spawns ammo, but you also have this, I don't know if you've ever been here before. I know there are videos out there, but underneath this road is a very long bunker, basically. And it's a little dangerous in there. I'm not going to go in there in this video, but just the fact that it's close by and you can harvest a lot of different resources from here. Here it is. Here's one of the entrances, and it goes like a couple miles basically under the road. And then there's this cool dilapidated shack here that's got some really nice elements to it. Now, there's no way you can fit this into the same camp as that house across the street, but just being nearby is kind of cool. And it does have a junk pile out back that you can harvest too. So if you did want to do your camp over here, or have two different camps and move them whenever you need to, that would be cool as well. But it's just kind of a bonus added on to that really interesting and unique pre-war house with the tree growing in the middle of it. I don't really know how that happened. Maybe it was some kind of apocalyptic Frank Lloyd Wright. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's super cool, and I can't wait to build at it. Which brings us to number 1 on the list of top 5 wrecked pre-war houses. This one is really going to be a challenge. This is up in the mountains in the northwest corner of the map. In spite of its challenges, I think it has a lot really going for it, which I'll mention in this video. You can see already that the house is really askew. It's like sliding down the mountain a little bit. So as I said, building in there might not work, but there's a ton of other stuff here. Again, I would consider this kind of a homestead, and especially because it's so remote in the game, the idea that this place has probably had to be really self-sufficient. I don't know if there's any really like clear roads to or from this place. There's a random toilet out in the yard. That's a good sign. I will also say, as you're looking at all the food that already exists here is really, so if you're into a farming type of build, this is a great spot for you. You'll see a meat pile there. There's always enemies here when I arrive, and usually it's robots and that are being attacked by super mutants or ghouls. So just be forewarned. I wonder if you set up camp, hopefully those things will not just continue to spawn, but I'm going to find out when I do it. So look at all the stuff you got here. Tons of stuff for steel. Got a huge variety of plants and food, which is great. There's a whole bunch of bonus things that I'm going to show you here. We're going to go inside the house first, and as you can see, it's probably not going to be very buildable in here. I don't know. Maybe. I'm going to try it. You got a little mut fruit tree growing through the floor, which makes more sense than that tree we saw in the last house. You've got a dresser which spawns some stuff, and over here is another little dresser. It's kind of a unique thing where it has the little drying rack on it, which is kind of cool. So you've got stuff that spawns on top and the stuff that spawns inside. You also got little cool details here like this hamper with the little like star on it, very mid-century, and the tricycle and the crib. Again, for some reason, these houses have a lot of references to children once living in them, and of course the horrible backstories of those that we try not to think about. So back out into the yard. If we cross through the plantings here, we get to this really awesome old barn. So in this barn, it's a pretty open space. There's some debris, but I think it's more like the stuff that you can build through. There is a workbench in it as well, as we'll see. But it also has this safe, has a desk. I don't think there's anything in the desk, but it does have this safe, which is a very easy to unlock safe. But look at all this lovely space to work with here. This would be really nice for an immersive camp build. And over here we have a large toolbox, gives you some stuff there, and here is the armor workbench. So that's very, very cool. There's also this weird little bonus shed that's kind of destroyed. I think you're probably not going to have much chance of building in it, but it does spawn these bags of fertilizer, which is kind of true to the story of a place like this. You want to have some fertilizer. And there's a little bit of a ledge there that you might be able to put some stuff on. Again, generator, if you want to hide it out over there, perhaps you can make it work. I don't know. I'm going to try all this stuff out, as I said. Now, one other bonus thing that I did not expect to find up here are these ore veins. So it's got actually 2 copper veins and 3 iron veins right here on this property. So they're not the deposits where you can really mine them, but still you're gonna get some free iron and some free copper. Lately I've been harvesting copper because I've been doing a lot with the Tesla rifle, and so I'm making my own ammo, which is really nice. So overall, this site I think is just really nice. It's really immersive, feels like a homestead, feels like it belongs in the mountains of this region, and you get a lot of stuff for camping here. Like I said, the house itself, pretty rough, but this is my top choice for wrecked pre-war house locations for immersive builds. If you know of other pre-war houses that have been wrecked and you think they might be good for camps, let me know. I'd like to explore those. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed the video and have a good day.